All right, family. We live once again with the general. We got a very important topic today. We're talking about Islamic attacks on the rise, and that's what they are. We ain't no sense of short cutting it short and trying to say and dance around it. We got a lot of Islamic attacks that's been going on around the United States. Just recently, I think they was in New York somewhere. They threw some type of a pipe bomb, and I believe they were associated with ISIL. Then you had an attack in Dearborn, Michigan. On a synagogue. Then you had this one attack in Norfolk, Virginia, at a university. Some guy walked in. I think it was a ROTC class, and just shot the teacher. Just shot the teacher. And they jumped on him and pummeled his ass to death. But it is what it is. It is what it is. America is looked at again as the great Satan. America is looked at as the great Satan. you know, And so when you got people that they that's their ideology. You can say whatever you want to say, but that's how they think. That's how they move. You know, they don't distinguish between you and nobody else. They're just like the guy in New Orleans rolled down the middle of the street, running people over. He didn't give a damn who was in the street. He didn't single out and he didn't check no IDs. He didn't check no IDs, and whoever was in the street when he rolled down the street, that's who perished. Okay, so that's just what it is. Okay, that's just what it is. They don't distinguish between too many people, even though they might have some specific target. That's just like when they hit, and they was in on it. And even though United States might have had their hand in on it too. Both of their hands was on it. Okay, both of them, they both had an agenda to get paid. They gonna get paid together. Okay, they were gonna get paid together. And so 9/11, another situation like that. They don't care who in the building. They ain't checking for no IDs. They don't care who perished. You see, anybody could get it. Whoever in there is collateral damage. In order to achieve the goal that's necessary for the powers to be, the regime, they're gonna do whatever it takes. And whoever is happen to be there, that's of no concern. That's of no concern. And so anytime you go to war with somebody, you expect that, the participants of that ideology gonna want some form of get back. That's just all it is to it. They gonna want some form of get back. You attacking what, and even though, and this guy that was in Norfolk, he was black. And but I mean, again, what but that just show you when it comes to these religions, if you're a part of the religion, that's greater than any type of racial affiliation. You see, it's greater than, thank you, family. It's greater than any racial affiliation. You're Muslim, then that's what they ride with Muslims. They don't care about killing no black people. And I believe the guy that was the ROTC teacher, he was black. He was black. Norfolk has got a nice sized black population too. So, he went in there and he said this a ROTC class. He didn't know nobody in there and yelled out Allah Akbar, and just started shooting, So that just show you right there. That's to what extent, that it's a war of worlds. He was Pakistani. He looked black. Okay, okay. Well, I thought he might have been black. Oh, he was Pakistani. Okay, his last name was Shah. Thank you for bringing that to my you know my awareness. You feel me? I didn't know that. I'm gonna go back and do a little more research. I didn't really tap into it like I needed. He still was black. Okay, okay. That's what, because when I saw him, he looked black. I didn't know that he was Pakistani. Yeah. I'm gonna have to check into him too. But yeah, so that just show you that these cats, man, when they get off into that Islam, and it is what it is. You could choose to be whatever you want. A lot of time they'll work with the man. They'll Allah Akbar with the pale Arab against you. That's just all it is to it. That's all it is. Yeah, thank you for being here on the scene. You feel me? Getting the information. Yeah, so that's why and people act like this just started. These is two extremist ideologies. These is two extremist ideologies where it really ain't no room to wiggle. Either you in or you out. And if you out, you gonna get punished. You see what I'm saying? You gonna get punished. Either you down with them, either and you following the tenets of Islam, or you out of there. They're gonna take you out. Ain't really no room for no other religions, no other ideologies. In the Western world, the same way. They the same way. You go to China, the same way. You go to India, the same way. You go to most world, we talking about these major ideologies in the world. They don't let you go to Japan. Ain't no room to wiggle over there. Ain't no room to wiggle in Japan. You either with them or you against them. That's how they roll. They don't, they don't want too many outside entities in Japan. You're not gonna have no stronghold over there. China the same way. That's why they cracking down on a lot of Muslims over there. They cracking down on them. They don't want them to have no power over there. Same thing in India. That's why you got India and Pakistan. Pakistan is the Muslims, and India, they practice the Hinduism, and that's the way they want it. And they've been beefing, even though they come from the same root. One is a Muslim, one is a Hindu, and they, a lot of times there is no compromise in that. And people acting like, this is all over the world with different ideologies. So you got Pakistan and India, damn near went to war not long ago. So India was a little, India, when it comes to the military, they're a little strong, even though Pakistan got some nuclear weapons over there. India is a little more advanced with all the other technology. Yeah, well, Japan is an elitist group. Japan is elitist. They look down on all them over there. They look down on Chinese. You can watch the old kung fu movies. Even when you watch Ip Man. Did you see Ip Man? When the Japanese took over China, and how they was doing the Chinese over there, and how the Japanese soldiers how they was treating the Chinese there. They looked down on them. Yeah, Britain did separate them when they was over there. They gave them the they gave the Muslims Pakistan and things of that nature. But man, they be beat. Man, I seen where, man, they had got into it. Yeah, they took over Korea and did a lot of vicious things over there in Korea. Yeah, and the Koreans don't like the Japanese to this day for what they did. They did atrocities, and people don't talk about that. Japan was vile to a lot of them nations over there. Vile. They did some vile things to them nations over there. And they don't want to, yeah, yeah. They don't want to mess with them to this day. But they, only because, they allies of America that they work on certain things together. Like now they trying to make sure China don't get, take over there. So yeah, they working in, but yeah, Korea want Japan to, you know, come out, man, on some serious, not just apology, but y'all was on some genocide over there. Y'all was over there, degrading them to the point it was ridiculous. So understand that. Understand that China was very vicious on its people. Mao Zedong, yeah, he exterminated 50 million of this Chinese. Stalin. People keep talking about Russia and y'all must don't know about Joseph Stalin, who brutal on the Russians. You see what I'm saying? He wiped out over, they say he wiped out close to 50, 60 million Russians in his term as the dictator of the Soviet Union. So when you start talking about these cats and now they talking about that original Shah, they talking about that original Shah that was a Ayatollah of Iran. With the things that he did. You see, so ain't none of them is no good. None of them no good, one way or another. So I don't get in the middle, and I'm just saying, who gonna come out on top of these vile oppressors, and it ain't celebration. I'm just saying, you have to look at things not from an emotional standpoint, but a point of where you learn from what is happening. Either you learn from it or you're going to stay stupid to reality because it's going to keep happening. And when it happened to you, and it can happen to you, and it did happen to you, and will happen to you again if you ain't learned anything from the first time or the second time or the third time. You keep it because niggas is emotional. They want to quote biblical prophecies and things in that nature. Yeah, I do believe in prophecy, but I believe that it's going to manifest from physical reality and strategy, and that's going to be the fulfillment of prophecy. But just something, the clouds and some stars aligning, and all of a sudden we going to wake up and take over. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's going to be strategy. It's going to be minds clearing out from all the old ways of thinking where people just, sit on their hands and not understand that, hey, if you ain't got the machinery to win, you will not win. You got to win. You got to have you got to strategize, you got to see the outcome. You have to have a strong B and a strong C. And the B got to be damn near good as the A, and the C is really a B. And the D is really a B. You don't want to have to go to the D because you got to, you got your A should do it. Your A should do it. If your B don't do it, the B should do it. It should be almost as good as your A. If you got to go outside of that, you didn't playing well enough. You know what I'm saying? You ain't playing well enough. You got to take your time and plan. But there is a rise of attacks on, and it's gonna be amongst black people too. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. I mean, just think about it, man. When the Arabs first came over here, they was killing all type of black people in the black community. When they first got over here, I remember they were, the communities was really hostile against one another. Cause I used to see it. Black men used to be getting into it all the time. It's about messing with their woman. And people say they on, but I seen it. Like, nigga, don't be hitting on my woman. Don't do that. You understand what I'm saying? And straight up be ready to throw down. You see what I'm saying? And but they was killing kids and for just taking candy and things of that nature. Yeah, so it's been going on. And it's still going on to this day. It's not long ago they still doing it. You see, they been, but hey, you let somebody set up in your community that don't even like you, and and they think they could dictate over you because they got some products and some resources, and they sitting right in your damn neighborhood, and you let them talk to you any kind of way. But see, that's what it is. So they really been already attacking black people for a long time because the white man didn't let them set up in his community. They always send them right to the black community. I don't care who it is. Go set up in the nigger community. Whoever it is, Koreans, the Chinese, the Arab, go right on up in their community, seize their community, get them all type of loans, and get them all type, and they ain't smarter than you. They ain't smarter than you. You smarter than them. But the fact is, they get them loan, don't have to pay no taxes for 10 years, and let them come over, give them all the loans to go over. They get everything they need. They just come out the damn desert off a damn camel, and they brought all their cousins with them and everything. Just got off a camel. They don't have no money. You know what I'm saying? There's a few of them that didn't work it. That might got the mind to work the system, and then they bring all their cousins with them. Their cousins is goat herders. They don't know nothing about nothing, and so you thinking, oh, they better no. They giving them the opportunity because they don't want you to be in no position of power because they know you the biggest threat. Once you get the momentum to roll, you will roll to number one. He ain't gonna roll to number one. He gonna he might, but he's not going to number one. You could go to number one. And so they don't want you to have that type of momentum, so they're not gonna give you that, you give them black people business loan to get stores, and then you pass it down and you get 2 generations, 3 generations of momentum of being in power or being in business. Then that's how you get it. That's how people continue to stay. Once you get momentum, you get 1 generation, so they got 2, 3, they at least got 2 generations that them been running them stores, from the time I was young to now. They got at least 2, 3 generations of, passing it down, and they know how to run it now. They not only they going and opening up the Boost Mobiles and all of that because they got the inside scoop. They knew they ain't smarter than you. These people come out of the damn, and people saying, well, why can't? Because they not giving it to you. So don't expect them to give it to you. They'll give a couple people to make so they can't say, oh, you ain't giving nobody nothing. They're gonna give a few, but then the rest you just gonna have to get it on your own. That's just all it is to it. That's all it is to it. And it could be done, but the reality is you got a system that's against you. And so you got to deal with that. You can't just lay on your hands and keep using it as an excuse because it's going to stay an excuse. It ain't going to ever change. I mean, and why would you expect it? Why would you expect a man in power to let to give the next up and coming, the number one contender, some type of momentum to knock him out of power? I wouldn't even expect nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even expect nothing like that. But you better keep your eyes open out here. You better keep your eyes open, especially in areas where you got a nice size population of Muslims. That's just what it is, you know. And I'm not at all demonize all of Islam. That's not what I'm doing because a lot of our family could be Muslims and they're good people. You know what I'm saying? But there is a current in Islam without any doubt that is extremist as hell. They don't care about nobody other than them. That's what they care about. And they will take you out if you on the other side of their ideology. You'll be a fool not to know that. You will be a fool. Only a fool would, and they take out other Muslims that don't think like that. You got Iran is Shia. Then you got Saudi, you got the you got the Sunni. But you got that one that's the major what they call that coming out of Saudi Arabia. Very aggressive. It started with a W, but Bin Laden, the type of Islam Bin Laden, yeah, radicalized. It is radicalized. It's a particular name because Bin Laden was failed, and so I was thinking that it's both of them, and they radical as hell. You see what I'm saying? They radical as hell, and you got and they against one another, so they doing each other. So damn well they don't give a damn. Wahhabism. That's it. Wahhabi. That's it. Y'all went in there and got it. Wahhabi. That's it right there. Yeah, they radical as hell. Yeah, but see, he was a Sunni, so both sides is extremists. Both sides. Yeah, Wahhabism. That's it. Mm-hmm. And so just keep your eyes open, and not just for them, for everybody. When a guy don't move right, and it ain't just the guys. Shit, don't get it twisted. You see, they got suicide women bombers, so don't be old fool. They'll put the burqa on or not the burqa. You see what I'm saying? They roll like that too, so don't be no damn fool. You see what I'm saying? They strap up too. Sit right down and detonate right next to you. So don't, and it is what it is. They do it, but then when you call them out for it, people got to be looked at as being some form of, you racist. No, you is what you is, and we're gonna call you on it. And once you start throwing threats out there, it would be in our best interest to take you for your word and be, vigilant. And anything that we see, we you understand what I'm saying? We bring awareness to the people. You say, do they think they packed up not Netanyahu? I don't know. Did they get him? I don't know if they got him or not. I don't know. They got the. I mean, they could have got him if he was sleeping. People say they ain't seen him in a minute. I don't know. He might be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they did, I mean, I don't know. Shit, it's a possibility. They've been bombing over there now. They've been striking them. They most definitely got the capability to strike over there. And not only, they probably. Oh, he did a press conference today. I figured that I was just gonna go. Yeah. You when you hear they talking about they about to deploy special forces, they already there. They ain't about to deploy nothing. That'd be dumb as hell. They already in there. you know, they ain't about to deploy nothing. They already there. Yeah. 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 Say he did a press conference today. I had to look at it and see. Well, I appreciate y'all, family. I'll get black with y'all soon. Make sure y'all get over to Patreon. We got some fire over there. Illegal Chinese marijuana growing farms inside the United States. You see, with the help of the Mexican cartel. We also we doing this one gonna be way over here. Is Iranian terror cells been activated in the United States? This gonna go a little deeper than what we doing. They don't want us to say too much on the internet today, So, but we'll most definitely look at it on a deeper level. You feel me? Say, oh yeah, them Chinese growing dirty weed. Can't they always salute to the mob. That's right. I know they is growing that dirt. Yeah, all right, family. All right, family. I'll see y'all in a minute. Click that link at the top of the chat and get over there to Patreon work with the general. All right, Black Pop.